So, new update on the Epstein files. 3 million files have been released by the DOJ, and this is going to be supposedly the last drop that they'll do. I didn't look through the whole thing because obviously 3 million files, that's going to take a long time. A long time. I looked through some of these files and there is a lot going on within these 3 million files. Trump allegedly sold young girls. There are certain code words within the emails that allegedly means cannibalism. There are photos of young girls that are pregnant. And then there's also allegedly evidence of Epstein that he didn't commit suicide because of US agencies might have been committing assassinations to cover up sex trafficking. And there is so much more. So that's just the gist of the things that we're going to talk about. I'm not going to talk anymore. I'm not going to, continue on with this intro. We're going to move on and we're going to talk about these situations. And so let's get into the new update on the Epstein files. Viewer and listener discretion is advised. This episode contains discussion of sensitive topics that may be distressing for some audiences. Please take care while listening, and if these topics are triggering for you, we encourage you to prioritize your well-being. Welcome to Taste the Tea podcast. I'm Teresa, and in this podcast, we talk about true crime. So if you're interested in true crime, please subscribe, comment, like, and if you want to see my previous episodes or want to see more about true crime, please watch my previous episodes, The Epstein Files. There are about 3 million documents, like we stated, that have been released. Okay. There was a lot to look over. There was so much information. There was so much documents. Obviously, there was a lot that have been redacted. A lot of disturbing things that I saw it shows how much evil is in this world and how evil can be, if that makes sense. It's just intense. It's a lot of information. If you decide to look through those files yourself, look at them at your own risk, because it's definitely a lot of information and a lot of disturbing things that you will find in those files. Now, I'm going to give you like an overview or overall rundown of everything that stood out to me. I'm not, like I said in the intro, I didn't look through all 3 million files because this would have been like a 3-4 hour video and it would have taken me a few weeks to go through everything. I just want to let you know at least a gist. We're going to talk about pics and videos that I found within the file that are pretty questionable. Now, we already kind of looked at some pictures and some videos from previous drops, but this drop is insane. There are videos or pictures of Epstein with a young girl on his lap, and he's biting her butt. So this one really stood out to me because this is a little girl. You can tell how little the girl is because you can see her whole body, if that makes sense. Now, for somebody to be able to pick someone up, and the picture is kind of close up, like where we're at right now, and you can see their whole body, they're not a full-grown adult or a full-grown human being. They're a baby. They're a child. And you can see, obviously, her face, the kid's face is redacted, but you can see him biting her butt. Now, that was just really weird. Even if it was your niece or your daughter, because I don't think he has kids, but if it was your niece or whoever, that's still weird. You don't do that. Like, no. I don't think that that's right. So, something weird was going on there, and that was just super disgusting to look at. So I I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what else to say about that situation. It's just creepy. It's just creepy, and it just shows what was going on behind doors and the things that these kids go through. Now, I don't know, it could be something very light, but I just don't think it is. That's just weird. You don't do that to just random people. Not even your family members. I mean, that's just really weird. Just weird to me, all right? But the kid has her clothes on, so I mean, it's still weird, but the kid has her clothes on, and it just gives pedo vibes. That's all I'm going to say about that picture. There's just a lot more that I can say, but that's it. There's also pictures of a girl sitting on Epstein's lap. When do we not see these pictures? There's just a lot of them. But there's a girl sitting on his lap, and she looks pregnant. Now, there are documents that I look through, and we'll talk about it later on. I'll kind of point this out, but there's a document within the file that states something about Donald Trump and pregnant women. And I don't know if this was one of the girls that was involved in that situation that we'll talk about further in the episode, but there's a few pictures of women that are pregnant, and there's a lot of documents that state that women were pregnant within this whole Epstein situation, right? But allegedly, Trump could be involved because of a document that came out in this drop. We'll get into that. Okay. There's also a picture of a girl with a message. And this message states, "To Jeffrey, thanks for rocking my world." That's disgusting. Anyways, you're the best. He had that in his, I think in his office in a frame. And obviously her face is redacted. The girl's face is redacted. But she didn't look older. She looked a bit younger, at least from her arms. You could see her body. So I don't know, that message kind of made me feel really weird when I read it. It made me feel really icky, but that's what I found, right? There's another file that has a whole bunch of pictures. In this file, there's a lot of kind of, I guess you can say that it's like pornography. And there are a lot of women that are naked. Obviously, it's redacted. Everything is covered. But you can tell that they're naked. You can tell that it's pornography that's going on in these pictures. But there's one picture that stood out to me a lot. And it was a girl that was on a cross, and she was tied up, fully naked. Like I said, she was redacted. But it's like, I don't know why Epstein would have this picture. I believe it was in his computer that they took these pictures, or where they took these pictures from. But why would he have a picture of a girl tied on to a cross, and she's like fully naked? It just seemed very like demonic, very like cult-ish. It creeped me out. It creeped me out when I saw it. I was like, this is weird. I don't know how to feel about this. Why would Epstein have a picture like this? What was going through his mind? I know that he's a horrible human being, but I'm like, dang, this is insane. I would never have a photo of something like that saved in my computer. But maybe because I'm a sane, normal human being. I don't know. But it was really creepy to see that within the file and to know that he had these pictures in his computer. Now, I did talk about the pornography, right? But there was a lot more. So there's a lot more files where there's a bunch of pornography, and it makes you feel so uncomfortable because it's like, am I supposed to be looking at this? It's like, it's obviously a lot of pornography, a lot of things going on in these pictures that you can see men doing things to women, that a man is on top of a woman. You can tell that that's what it is, that's what's going on, but you can't see it. It's obviously all redacted, but it just makes you feel uncomfortable. I was at Meraki. Meraki is a salon that my boyfriend owns, and I work there and I'm the receptionist. And so I have my computer in the front, and I'm obviously doing my research there because that's where I mostly do my research and do my work. But I'm over here looking at the pictures and I'm like, oh shoot, like I don't know if I should be looking at this. It makes me feel so uncomfortable. I'm like, people are gonna look at my screen and be like, oh, Teresa, what are you looking at? What are you doing? Like, it just made me feel really uncomfortable, but I had to look at these files and it was not fun. So yeah, so I don't know what he was, obviously we know what he was doing with these photos or pictures or whatever. So disgusting. So I found videos within these files that it looked like these girls were recording themselves, pleasuring themselves, and possibly sent it to Epstein. That's why Epstein had these videos. I mean, allegedly, right? But it just, like I said, it was all redacted. Nothing, you can't see anything. But you can obviously see the girl's legs and they're wide open. And you can see that she's possibly pleasuring herself. And yeah, there was a lot of them like that. So, I mean, who knows? Maybe they were, not minors, they were of age, but we don't know that. But it's still like weird that this creepy old looking pedophile man that's asking for these videos and pictures and getting them, and yeah, it just makes me feel really uncomfortable and really weird. But those are the pictures, I mean videos that I would find, and there was a lot of them. That video specifically was about 2 minutes and 39 seconds of a video. So yeah, and it was all that. There was another video of Epstein with a girl laying on his lap. And this was like maybe a second long video. I don't know. She looked really young. She looked really young. Obviously her face is redacted, but it just looked weird. Next one is of a recording of girls possibly naked. So there are girls that are in his office and he is having them dance, and he's like at his desk and the girls are dancing. The reason why I say they're naked is because you can mostly see their legs, but like their full body is redacted. I would assume they would only redact their face if they didn't want to identify the person. Maybe, you can obviously redact their whole body because you don't want to identify them. But there's other ones that doesn't do that and they're not fully naked. Or, I mean, they're fully clothed and they just like redact their face and that's it. So that's why I assume that they're naked. And you can't see anything. You can also basically see like their whole leg, like half of their thigh down. You can see all of that and it's obviously bare. It's their bare legs. So they were just dancing in front of his desk and they were laughing or whatever. So yeah, that was just really creepy. I don't know if they were minors. I'm not sure, but I know that they were young. Yeah, it is weird. So there's another video of a girl kind of sitting in front of Epstein's legs, and she is like, or Epstein is like ringing a bell, and this bell is red. Now, from previous pictures, and things and videos that we have seen from the files, we've seen this bell before. Now, this bell is what I assume the bell that states ring for sex. Now, he was ringing this in front of the girl, and the girl looks like she's wearing like a costume. And she also appears in another video. This girl looks very, very young. She looks young to the point is like, she looks under 18. She looks young. I mean, maybe she could be really short for an 18-year-old and older, but I don't know. It's not that common, but I mean, you never know. But still, she looked really young. She looked really young, and she's in a costume. Like I said, it was like a Sailor Moon costume, something like that. And he was just ringing this bell in front of her. And what it looks like, that bell is the one that states ring for sex. That's just creepy. That's just nasty. I just don't. I get like, I have like goosebumps. It makes me feel really uncomfortable and weird. But yeah, so I mean, I don't know how I feel about this, but it is what it is. I mean, not what it is. I mean, it's just crazy. Those are the videos that I would see. But like I said, it could be the same girl as the other video because she's wearing the same Sailor Moon costume. Now, the other video that I'm talking about is about a girl that she's like in the room, and then she like kind of storms out of the room, and she gets up and she gets out of the room or something like that. It's just like a really, really weird video. That's it for the pictures. That's it for the videos. There's a lot more, but those are the ones that stood out to me because they're just completely insane and just creepy. It makes me feel really uncomfortable. So if you want to look at those files and those pictures on your own, please do so at your own risk, and try not to do it in a public area because people are going to question what you're watching because it's a lot of information and it's a lot of stuff that just not you're not supposed to look at that in public. You're not supposed to look at that at all. Well, it's just a lot. It's just uncomfortable, okay? Just do it on your own risk. Trump appears a lot in these files. We've already seen him. We've already talked about him. He is appearing more in these files that were released, these 3 million files that were released just recently. There is a specific document that was released that has been going around social media, specifically TikTok, from what I've seen, because that's where I saw it. So I was like, as soon as I saw it, I'm like, I gotta look this up because this is a lot of information came out in this document that we don't know if it's true, but if it is true, this is where I say that you're gonna know how evil people can be and how evil is. So there's this chart in an email with the subject NTOC names. Now, I don't know what that stands for. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't look that up. I don't know who sent it or who's it from, but it looks like it's to a special agent, child exploitation, and human trafficking task force. So it looks serious. And then it also states Federal Bureau of Investigation. And it's a very long report. So in this report, it's basically a chart, and there's a bunch of highlighted information. There's also some that are not highlighted. It looks like stories. So it looks like, I guess, not stories, but testimonies that victims have stated, and there's a bunch of them. So there's a bunch of different people that have stated some type of information that involves certain amount of people. So this chart is about 6 pages, right? I only took a few because they have a section. So they have a section where it says name. And I'm assuming, because it's redacted, but I'm assuming it's the name of the victims. And then they have another section after that, complaint summary. So this is a summary of the situation that they went through. Then the row after that, or the column after that, is response. So the response is, did they get a response after they stated this complaint? I'm assuming it's like the people that are investigating, did they get a response? What was the response afterwards? And then criminal history. I don't know exactly what that is because it's definitely all redacted. So, yeah, we're going to get into a few. I'm going to start with the first one. The first one states, redacted, reported an unidentified female friend who was forced to perform oral sex on President Trump approximately 35 years ago in NJ. The friend told Alexis that she was approximately 13 to 14 years old when this occurred, and the friend allegedly bit President Trump while performing oral sex. The friend was allegedly hit in the face after she laughed about biting President Trump. The friend said she was also abused by Epstein. The response to this was, spoke with caller who identified, and then it says redacted, friend. Lead was sent to Washington office to conduct interview. That one that one was intense because it's like they were 13 to 14 years old and they had to allegedly perform oral sex on President Trump. Now, like I said before, I don't know if these stories are true, but why else would they be told? And why else would there be a lot of them? Of different people, not the same person. Let's continue. Complainant following up after a call with a NYPD officer regarding her previous tip, reporting that she was forced to perform sex acts when she was 13 years old and pregnant in 1984. Now, this is the story that I was talking about the situation, but the pictures of women being are that are pregnant, and possibly allegedly this could have been the situation with Donald Trump. I don't know. I don't know if those girls are involved in this type of things, but I'll let you decide on that. Complainant also reported there were high profile individuals involved in her sex trafficking and the murder and disposal of her newborn daughter. Complainant reported Donald Trump participated regularly in paying money to force her perform sex acts with him, and alleged Trump was present when her uncle murdered her newborn child. So, like I said before, there's a lot of pregnant women in these files, and there's a lot of pictures of pregnant women in these files. I don't know if these pregnant women were also in some sort of situation like this, and that's what creeps me out, because we hear these stories and then we see pregnant women in the files, and it's like, was she the one? Was she the one that was involved? Like, who was she? Like, how was she pregnant? Where's his baby? Like, it just makes you question a lot. Now the response to that is no contact made. So I don't know what that is. There are a few more. Donald Trump, the president, had parties at Mar-a-Lago called Calendar Girls. Jeffrey Epstein would bring the children in and Trump would auction them off. He measured the children's vulva and vaginas by entering a finger and rated the children on tightness. The guests were elder men and included Elon Musk, Don Jr. Trump, Ivanka Trump, and Eric Trump was there. Attorney Alan Dershowitz was also there with Attorney Bob. We were taken in rooms, forced to give oral sex to Donald Trump, forced to allow them to penetrate us. I was 13 years old when Donald Trump raped me. Ghislaine Maxwell was also present. Yeah, I'm gonna let you sink that one in. Because that, if this is true, that is insane. And if it is true, I would not be surprised. I'm going to just say that. Because, like I said, in these files, we will learn how much evil there is in the world and how evil can be so evil. This is evil. This is more than evil. This is like horrible. The response to that is no contact information provided. This is just crazy how much people can do to human beings and how a human being can hurt a human being and how a human being can be so cruel. So, I don't know. I'm gonna let you think about that one. I don't know. I'm lost. I don't know what to say. That's just very sad and a lot of information, and I just don't know how to feel about it. But anyways, let's move on. There was a letter written by a victim allegedly was sold for sex and Trump was involved. So, this letter was made on June 14th, 2025. And the first part, it states, Jeffrey Epstein, my testimony, places Donald Trump as a person involved in the, and I believe it says in the something, of young women to the sex trafficking ring of Jeffrey Epstein. I don't know if it means sold, but anyways, it goes on with a testimony about Trump and Epstein, and it states, now come the testimony about Trump and Epstein. The plan had not been to get me pregnant and marry me, but to sell me to the Epstein brunch. I don't know what that means or what that says, but through Donald Trump. So there goes another pregnant woman. There goes another pregnant situation. I don't know how many of them were there. And to see that there's pictures in there of pregnant women, it just doesn't, I don't know, this could be true. Like if a lot of these women were going through these type of things. But yeah, that's one testimony. And then there's more. Donald Trump was sued and Epstein was sued by John Doe. We don't know who John Doe is, but they were being sued for rape, sexual misconduct, criminal sexual acts, sexual abuse, forcible touching, assault, battery, intentional and reckless infliction of emotional distress, duress, and false imprisonment. That's a lot to be sued for. Anyways, but it continue on. This is basically the person's perspective. This is John Doe's perspective and what happened and why they're planning to sue or why they're wanting to sue Epstein and Donald Trump for these acts, right? So this is what it states. The parties were held at a New York City residence that was being used by defendant Jeffrey Epstein. Each of the parties had other minor females and a number of guests of Mr. Epstein, including defendant Donald Trump. At 4 of the parties I attended, I understood that both Mr. Trump and Mr. Epstein knew I was 13. Defendant Trump had sexual contact with me at 4 different parties in the summer of 1994. On the 4th and final sexual encounter with defendant Trump tied me to a bed, exposed himself to me, and then proceeded to forcibly rape me. During the course of this savage sexual act or attack, I loudly pleaded with defendant Trump to stop, but he did not. Defendant Trump responded to my pleas by violently striking me in the face with his open hand and screaming that he will do whatever he wanted. I don't know what to say about that one. Immediately following this rape, Defendant Trump threatened me that were I ever to reveal any of the details of Defendant Trump's sexual physical abuse of me, my family and I would be physically harmed if not killed. Now, I don't know if this is true, but if it is, why is he the president of the United States of America? That's all I have to say. I'm sorry, but allegedly, if this is true, why? Let's continue. Defendant Epstein had sexual contact with me and two of the parties that summer. On the second occasion involving Defendant Epstein forced himself upon me and proceeded to rape me anally and vaginally despite my loud pleas to stop. Defendant Epstein then attempted to strike me about the head. I think he meant to say above the head, and with his closed fist, while he angrily screamed at me that he, Defendant Epstein, should have been the one who took my virginity, not Defendant Trump, before I finally managed to break away from Defendant Epstein. Immediately following this rape, just like Defendant Trump, Defendant Epstein threatened me not to ever reveal any of the details of Defendant Epstein's sexual and physical abuse of me, or else my family and I will be physically harmed if not killed. Now, there is also a friend's perspective in this lawsuit. And this lawsuit, I don't know if I said it, but this lawsuit was filed in 2016. So it was not too long ago, but it was about 10 years ago. That's the lawsuit, and that's the whole situation with that. I don't know exactly what is true or what's not true, but I mean, if there was a whole lawsuit coming out, I would hope it would be true. And if it is, all those things are just crazy and sad. And it's just a lot. I'm drained. I'm drained from the information. But anyways, let's move on to Epstein in these files. We already know Epstein is a horrible human being. We already know all the things that he did to these young women and in general, right? But Epstein, there's a lot more stuff that proves that he is just a maniac. He tried to hide his name and allegations from any searching site. And there's an email about this. So, this is to Jeffrey Epstein from Al Seco, which states, Jeff, I am very happy to report to you today that we have managed to get some very positive results already. This was not the case of yesterday when we checked. So the bots may have just made their rounds, taking our work into effect. If you type your name in Google News, the first article that came to the very top was the most recent suit from last month. And as you scroll down, there were other articles. If you typed in your name plus pedophile, etc., you would get scores of results of news, blogs, and other entries. Now, if you type your name, you will see endless pages of Google News about every other Jeffrey Epstein, but you will not find any more news articles about you. Even if you type in your name, pedophile plus pedophile, a direct search, no documents will turn up. He was trying to hide. He was trying to hide it because for whatever reason, he didn't want people to know that he was a pedophile, which, I mean, is understandable, but it's like, you a pedophile, so sorry. People already know. But he was trying to hide it, right? There was also weird emails that stood out to me. So in these emails, I don't know who it's from, but it's to Jeffrey Epstein. And it states, recently discovered this, and it's T equals E, new favorite. Now, I don't know what that means. I don't know what T equals E means, but it says new favorite, worth trying. Now, this link that is on this email that this person supposedly discovered, it basically, the email states lesbian sex toys, 28 lesbian sex toy, 2 lack finger extender. I think it's 2 black fingered extender, but worth trying on who? No. Yeah. And there's another email that's to Jeffrey Epstein that says, thank you for a fun night. Your littlest girl was a little naughty. Now, if that doesn't scream pedophile to you, I don't know what else does. Because what the hell did they say, littlest girl? What does that mean? That, to me, my perspective on that is littlest girl means the youngest. Was a little naughty? Don't. Oh my God, I got chills. That is disgusting. That is just horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible. What? Why? Like, whatever. But those are the emails that I found. There's also allegedly emails about Epstein's death and how it could not have been suicide and that they are proving it to not be suicide. Allegedly, right? But the reason why is because he was possibly involved in sex trafficking and like a sex trafficking ring in Mexico. Now, Mexico seemed to want to hide a bunch of evidence because they don't want to be ratted out, right? So there's a few emails, and these seem to be investigators that are investigating this situation with the sex trafficking and how Epstein can be involved in the sex trafficking in Mexico. But it states, just heard about Epstein based upon that we have discovered here and who was involved here in Mexico. We don't believe it was suicide. When you have 5 minutes, you need to listen to what we have as evidence. So they got something. They got something, right? And then it goes on to more emails. We had another serious incident since an American shot the trial judge in our child sex trafficking case here. He and I both think that the latest incident is tied to the fact that we have reached out to your team. Who on your team knows we are talking to you? Anyone assigned from NSA, CIA, or U.S. State Department, please understand people's lives here are in jeopardy. That sounds crazy. It looks like somebody is trying to, shut them up. But it goes on. We have had 4 armed attacks against us. My partner has shot and killed 2 and wounded 5 American agents to date. Numerous white American agents following us in vans assigned to U.S. Embassy. Redacted, was attacked and lost his arm. The president of Mexico is kneeling, aware of our case against redacted and other U.S. officials. This case we have here is most certainly connected to yours. We have the proof. Our case will help bring a whole new dynamic to what you know and who is involved. Prince Philip is small fried compared to what we have uncovered. You may want to question the ex-U.S. ambassador to Mexico, Mr. Earl Anthony Wayne, about his involvement with an underage girl when he attended and was arrested by the federal police. What? A lot of information coming out, right? We believe that Redacted and Epstein were involved organizing this party and it was held in Juarez, Mexico in 2014 at a U.S. consulate controlled housing facility. Ask him how he knows redacted. He was sentenced in Mexico in 2017 to a life sentence for impregnating an 11-year-old girl. Her son's DNA matches Wayne's 100%. But he is allowing an ex-U.S. Marine to stand in his place to serve his sentence in Mexico. That was an agreement and worked out between our U.S. State Department department and a judge of Mexico after a huge payoff. So it looks like if you have a lot of money, you can get away with certain type of things. I don't know. Let's continue. More emails state all investigative work on redacted and Epstein is still in process, and we have uncovered more videos and photos of two of them together in Mexico. Another attempt by U.S. Embassy security team was made yesterday when they stopped my partner and searched her car looking for videos and photos. We uncovered that they told her could not leave Mexico. They were not in her car. Someone doesn't want this data disclosed. Something's going on here. They're hiding a lot of stuff and they're wanting to hide a lot of stuff. So there's a lot more documents like this stating, they want to hide the information. Somebody's trying to come after us. Somebody's not trying to allow us to investigate, to release these photos, to release these videos. Something big is going on. There's a lot more stuff. But I don't want to read all of it because it's a lot of information to read. I will put some information for you up here. You can pause to read it if you would like. But there was a lot more stuff that came out about this, and that how allegedly Epstein's death could have been planned and could have not been suicide, allegedly, right? But that would be the evidences. Okay, so you know how I was saying a lot of coding, there's a lot of code words that are in these files, in these documents that could possibly mean something else? Well, one of them is the word pizza. Now, when you think of pizza, you think of a regular pizza, pepperoni, cheese, maybe pineapple. Sorry, I like that. And ham or something, crazy, right? That's what you think of. Well, they seem to really love pizza because that's all they talk about in these files. Not all of it, but most of it, right? They talk about a pizza, having a pizza party, having a pizza night, things like that, right? Why would they be talking about pizza? Well, it doesn't seem like it's about pizza, about the pizza we're thinking of, right? It seems like it's a different type of pizza. So there's an email that states, I wanted to let you know the crew really appreciated the pizza today. Thank you for letting us do that. Letting us do that. Letting us do what? Having a pizza? Eating pizza? What? Whatever. Next one. Good afternoon. The subject is pizza, right? And then it states, good afternoon. Would it be possible if Bryce and I to go over to Red Hook and have a quick pizza meal? Now, maybe that one seems a little bit more like pizza. But I don't know, because Red Hook, there's a lot of people that have been talking about it. And Red Hook, it could be another code word for something else. But let's move on. There's another email that says, menu from the pizza place. Mr. Epstein would like to see the menu from the pizza place. Could someone send it, please? And then someone else states or comments, emails back and says menu from the pizza place. So they sent the menu. Maybe that one could be innocent too. I don't know. But it's like, why are they always talking about pizza? I didn't know they liked pizza this much. There's another one that states we don't know who is it from, who's it to, but it says alert. Feeney asked about a pizza party this weekend. Feeney asking about a pizza party this weekend. A pizza party. I mean, I guess they really like pizza, right? There's a text message that says, I might delay till Wednesday. Is Chris Rock up for a Bobby Jeffrey lunch? I will try to get a hold of him. This is Bobby Slayton Bobby or whatever. I will try to get a hold of him. Don't have direct number, so it seems to take him a day or two to get back. So if I can reach him, it would be much later today. I'm going till 3 p.m. tomorrow. Okay, let's move on. Headed to Brooklyn later this morning for pizza. I'm on a mission. Let me know if you stick around. And then this Bobby person says again, I plan on a return trip this summer, if I can. A lot of pizza this week and a lot of walking. Almost 150 blocks today. Safe travels, pal. I don't know what is up with pizza. I didn't know people like pizza like that. And why are they stating that they are going to eat pizza? Like, what's so important? Like, why you gotta tell me what you gonna eat? Just say that I'm gonna eat lunch or dinner. Like, it's just always pizza. So what does pizza mean, right? Well, from what people have been stating, I found this on Reddit, right? And it looks like people are kind of decoding certain words. So pizza is in this list. There's a list of other words, allegedly, right? Hot dog means boy. Pizza means girl. Cheese means little girl. Pasta means little boy. Ice cream means male prostitute. Walnut means person of color. Map means semen. And sauce means orgy. Now, I wanted to look up these words to see if this was true. I found sauce in the file, and it says, subject, alert, order tomato sauce. What do you need to order tomato sauce and why you gotta email this? Like, it seems to me that something else is being said here. I don't know. There's another email that says, Bryce, did you want to name your cheese when it comes to truffle cheese? Jojo says they have several different kinds of truffle cheese. Maybe that we could be innocent. I don't know. There's another one that says ice cream party. Now, do y'all remember what cheese meant? Cheese allegedly means little girl. Sauce allegedly means orgy. Now, the first one said order tomato sauce. So order a tomato orgy? We don't know. Now, this other one said name your cheese. Is it name your little girl? I don't know. And then this other one is talking about ice cream. Bear's surprise ice cream party, Wednesday, 12:20. Now, what does ice cream mean? Male prostitute. Do we think or do we know this is true? I don't know. But it could allegedly be, and there could be a bunch of coding words. I mean, it would make sense because usually powerful people, if they're wanting to hide things, they would make codes for things. And yeah, so this could be true. This could not be true, but those are the things that I've found. There is also allegedly Epstein had growing baby farms. Now, what does that mean? Growing baby farms could allegedly mean that he would impregnate women and put the babies into sex trafficking right away, as soon as they gave birth. The reason why this is being said is because in the file, there is a journal of a girl, this girl's journal, that has a lot of things that kind of states this. So it says, one page that I found. Victim. So there's a bunch of like little like pieces of like, I guess she cut out from like a magazine or something, but it says victim of his own. Maybe she's born with it. Maybe she's born it, it's kind of crushed up. Maybe she's born into it. And there's more that says 1 minute I was nobody, the next a stealth closer, I don't know, never to be seen and heard. High excitement, and there's quotation marks around excitement, videos of a child all night. A risky power play. Sad. Luxury lifestyles of the rich and perverse. She wanted her child back. He wanted young girls, 18. She wanted her childhood back. No men she trusted. The painful moments. The truth broke her heart, betrayed. That's so sad. It kind of seems like she lost her childhood, or her baby lost her childhood, because in these like few other pages, she kind of states that she was pregnant and she had a baby. But she does a whole bunch of coding, so there's a whole bunch of like I guess coding words. Though she kind of writes it in like a code form, so people can't easily read it, but it seems easy to read because it's like it goes down and then up diagonal, so it's the game, and then it stop pedophile, stop pedo, or something like that. Okay, so I didn't get to decode it, but that's how it goes, right? And it shows a picture of a baby, and it says, stay alert, we live where you live. Fatal attraction to just little you. You know you do not have a choice. In his little plan. And then there's another page that is of a baby in an ultrasound, 2 ultrasound pictures, and also more coding words. And it says, a lot of cold showers, blood on their hands, no doctor, talk to no doctor, damaged, dead. If you don't know, you can't help. So there's people that decoded it and they wrote it out and they put it in the files right after, the pages. So it looks like the first coding page states, so sorry, Jeffrey, these things happen when your body had never been given time to properly heal. So it came out in the toilet and I didn't know what to do, so I just flushed a tiny little fetus. You have made me numb and I hate you for this. I hope I never have to see you again. I am not your personal incubator. Where is the baby? Where is Ghislaine? That was intense. So it looks like she was pregnant and she had the baby and she flushed down the toilet because of possibly maybe she was pregnant before and they took the baby, some sort of situation, or maybe there was another person that had that happen to her. The other coding page states, tomorrow is the halfway ultrasound for Epstein, for Jeffrey. This one stuck. After they took the first baby who survived an early miscarriage, I think it was called, I no longer feel like a person but a vessel. Will they take this one too? Who was the first one? Where did Ghislaine go? She is never around. I can't let myself get attacked. I am not old or mature enough or even in the place to have a baby that I would be responsible for. I'm not even able to focus on anything other than hiding this again. I had to go to eating disorder treatment prior to being in this situation again and miss the entire fall semester of school. I am so very exhausted. My body feels so tired. Will I ever be free? This is so sad that, they were writing these things and this is what it states. And it looks like she had been pregnant before. They took the first baby. She was pregnant again. And this time she possibly flushed down the toilet so they wouldn't take this baby. Just a lot of information and a lot more stuff was said in her journal. But these are the things that kind of stood out to me. And it shows that there could have been a baby farm involved that Epstein started. Now, there is allegedly a lot of cannibalism involved, okay? Because there are some emails that state some sort of cannibalism. And there is one document that I found that says, redacted. Further stated, also during the said yacht trip, multiple unknown male blacks were engaged in sex acts with unknown female whites who had their backs slashed and were bleeding. Redacted. Also described several infants being killed and their intestines removed, as well as other acts of cannibalism. Now, this was an interview of someone, a victim, I'm assuming. But this was in 2019 that was said. So it looks like cannibalism is possibly being involved, allegedly, and it has to do with infant babies. Now, you know how many times I've heard about this? How powerful people, how rich, powerful people are eating babies? You know how crazy that sounds? That's more than evil. That's like demonic type of stuff. But there's more. So allegedly, there are emails from Jeffrey Epstein, not allegedly, but there's emails that from Jeffrey Epstein that he sends to I don't know who. The subject reads, "Cream cheese baby." And it states, "There are millions of babies. Very little good vegetable cream cheese." What stood out to me the most, one, the subject, cream cheese baby, and then also, there are millions of babies. Very little good vegetable cream cheese. There's another one that states, "LOL, I don't know if cream cheese and baby are on the same level." Now, you cannot say that they're just like, oh, they just said cream cheese baby. No, it's cream cheese and baby are on the same level. What does that mean? Like, are they eating babies? This is insane. Like, there could be cannibalism involved. Cannibalism, yeah. Involved, allegedly, right? And allegedly it could be involving infant babies. Now, these are the only things that I found that are, kind of proves that this could be true. But there was another situation that happened before that I kind of want to include in this situation because to me, it seems like this could be true. And it's so sad how this could happen, or how could this be real? How could they be doing this? Well, let me tell you. I don't know if you watched or if you've seen this, but this was all over TikTok of a girl, a model. I believe she was a Mexican model. Her name was Gabriela Rico Jimenez, right? She came out of, I believe, a party or a gathering or something. And she came out screaming to everybody, "They're eating people." ¡Comieron humanos! ¡Asquerosidad! ¡Comieron humanos! ¡Yo no estaba enterada de nada!
eso sí, pero que habían comido humanos. ¡Humanos! Fue la carne humana.
And this was in 2009. Now, there was an article about the situation that I found, and it states, the mysterious case of Gabriela Rico Jimenez is one of the Mexico's most chilling unsolved stories. In 2009, the young model from Chihuahua attended a high-profile party in Monterrey, allegedly tied to the prestigious elite model agency. This wasn't just any party. It was said to host powerful businessmen, politicians, and possibly organized crime figures. Days later, Gabriela appeared in a now infamous video outside a Monterrey hotel, barefoot, distressed, and rambling about global elites, satanic rituals, and human sacrifices. She claimed world leaders, including former President George Washington Bush, took part in secret ceremonies and ate children. Her words were frantic and disjointed, but carried a sense of real terror. Police took her away, calling it a mental breakdown. She was never seen again. No hospital records, no official statements, no trace. Her family stayed silent, and authorities offered nothing. Many believe she stumbled onto the dark side of the modeling world, where young women were exploited and trafficked under the guise of glamour, and that her outburst was a desperate warning. Others think it was a genuine psychological crisis. But the absence of any investigation has only fueled the mystery to this day. Gabriela's disappearance is a haunting reminder of how someone can vanish in plain sight when power, silence, and fear converge. I watched this video and it's so crazy. Like, it just seems like, I don't know, like, how could she just come out and just scream that? Like, there has to be some sort of context behind this. There has to be something that she saw as to why she wanted to scream that out. Like, even if you were, I guess, quote unquote, on drugs or whatever it is, there has to be some sort of meaning or something that you saw. I don't know. It just seemed fishy. And the fact that we don't know where she is to this day, what happened to her after that, we don't know. And it's just insane to me. So it kind of proves a little bit more of like how this cannibalism could be true in the higher, powerful people parties, right? I think that's how I'm going to end it. I'm sorry I have to end it that way, but that's everything that I found in these files that really blew my mind and really shows how evil can be and how much evil is in this world. It's just unbelievable. It's very unbelievable, and it's hard to really wrap around your head, but it's allegedly could be true. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please leave a comment anything that you have to say about these files and what you think about this whole situation and with the Epstein files and everything that I stated today. But I hope you guys enjoy this video, and please stay tuned for my next videos and let me know if you want to hear any other topic. But okay, I'll see you guys later. Bye.